me go to Renee downtown at 556-1250. Renee, say hello to Booby Nash. And our listeners, you can call in and talk to Booby Nash as well. Renee, say hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Hi, Renee.
Hey, you probably don't remember me, but I was in the Gong Show.
You were what now? On the Gong Show?
You remember when you did that at Ashley Plaza Mall?
Oh, yes, I do.
And
I thought you were gonna mention the Holiday Inn, Riverview. We did the Gong Show up there too, but I don't remember any of those shows.
I won third place doing gymnastics.
Oh, I remember you. How did you ever do that stuff?
I don't know now. I can't even bend down now. But...
Well, we're glad to hear that. But anyway,
you know my brother Troy.
Troy, what's your last name?
Green is my maiden name.
Oh,
Green.
Troy Green, I sure do. In fact, I just saw him a couple of days ago. He bought me lunch. A little bowl of soup.
He never buys me lunch.
Yeah, well, he's cheap.
Renee, you remember listening to Booby?
I do, yes. He was great.
Well, thank you for calling in, Renee. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
You bet. 556-1250 is the number if you want to give us a buzz and have a chance to talk to Booby Nash. And over the years, and I've mentioned many times that I feel very lucky just to be the latest inhabitant of a chair that's been occupied by so many Charleston radio legends over this last 70 years.
The same chair?
And no, it's not. You guys wore it out. So they spare no expense, as you can tell, for the chairs here at Citadel Broadcasting. So I feel very lucky to be the latest person here in a long line of really radio legends. And every time your name comes up, everybody says, whatever happened to Booby? Whatever happened to Booby? Where's Booby? Where's Booby? Whatever happened? I love listening to Booby. I grew up listening to Booby. Can you tell us the Booby Nash story on exactly what happened at the end at WTMA and what you're doing nowadays? Because I know a lot of people have asked me that many times over the years, and I want to hear it straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak.
Okay, here it comes. Can I clear my throat?
Absolutely.
Do you have a cough button? Oh, yeah, there it is. Hey, it works. Anyway, a new company was coming in. I worked for Ted Turner. You know, Ted Turner owned TMA for a while. And a new company was coming in, and John Trenton called me in the office. He said, Boob, he said, you've been here for 11 years. This new company is coming in. New broom sweeps clean. I'd start looking if I were you. And at the same time, WCSC had reached out to me, CJ and Buzz. CJ had said, hey, if you're going to leave there, why don't you come over there? So I did, and I spent the last 5 years at CSC until AM radio was just nothing anymore. Mm-hmm. And so I had already in 84 opened up, pioneered a church. I had had an experience, call it a religious experience or whatever. I went to a prayer meeting, and I believe God spoke to me, and I believe God touched me. Not because I was holy. I was probably the worst person on earth. At least I thought I was. My life was not a happy life, to be honest with you, and that's why I like to make people laugh. I like to joy all around me. It's the only joy I got out of life, was to make other people laugh. It's sort of like that song, I'm laughing on the outside, crying on the inside. That was pretty much my life story. I didn't feel sorry for myself, but things just never seemed to click for me until that day that I ran into Jesus. I just have to be honest with you. He's alive. I'll preach it till the day I die. It doesn't matter how bad you are or how bad you've been. Jesus is a lover and a soul winner. And he touched my life in such a way. It doesn't mean that I never made mistakes after that. In fact, I made some big ones. But he's faithful. He's faithful to you no matter how bad things get.
And what do you do nowadays with them?
I preach it. I preach the grace of God, his favor, his love. And I pastored a church for 18 years, part of it while I was at CSC. And then I had a little bit of a falling in my life. I ended up in prison for 2 years for what we would call an internet crime. It wasn't a big deal, and it was a big deal. I thought my life was completely ruined and over with, that I had let everybody down. And instead, I learned I've been in the Air Force, I've been in radio, I've been in ministry, I've been in prison. I've had a lot of experiences in my life, and one of the best was the prison. I found out what prison. I preached in the prison for 10 years out here at Lieber. I preached at death row 5 times. I preached to people who were facing death, and I preached life to them. So I knew what life was like. I heard in prison, in the middle of the night, grown men sob, not weep, sob over their lives, crying out loud. Prison is it's a different lifestyle, and it's a breeding place for a radical Muslim. Also, people need to know that their prisons are becoming radical Muslim, and the government ought to do something about that. But that's a political statement. So, anyways, when I got out of there, I thought I was through with ministry. I thought God was through with me. I never knew how great God is, and so today. My main ministry is the Philippines. I go over, there's 7,000 islands over there, and I want to get on every single one of them.
How often do you go over there?
Once a year, sometimes twice a year.
And what do you do when you're over there?
For 3 weeks. Well, normally I go to churches and preach. Some of them understand English, and some I need but this last trip, I just got back 2 weeks ago. This last trip, I preached in prison, one of their main prisons. I preached at a drug rehabilitation center. I preached at a police academy. Over 500 there in attendance. It was marvelous. I was in heaven, and then I visit homes. They over in the Philippines, they're still family oriented. So if a preacher's coming to the house, they invite him for dinner, and it's not fried chicken. Sorry. So if you're Baptist, I'm sorry, no fried chicken. It's fish eyes and stuff like that. And then they all gather, uncles and aunts and everything, all gather in the living room, and you preach.
You know, when I was a high school teacher, I used to tell kids that at the end of your life is merely the sum of the choices that you've made. Sometimes the choices are good, sometimes they're bad, sometimes they're small, like what shirt am I going to wear today or whatever. Yeah. Sometimes they're
You
big.
made a wrong choice
today.
I
know. I do not have a wardrobe. I have a wardrobe for radio, not television. But obviously, when you look back on your life, the good and the bad, the high points and the low points, it all has helped to define who you are now and what you're doing now. And do you miss this radio thing?
I did. And parts of me want to get right back into it and just enjoy it, the thrill of it.
You're smarter than that.
But the thrill I'm going through now, seeing people healed, seeing people grab a hold of their life again and be restored is it's. And I still joke around. I'm not very religious, and I think you know what that means. I'm just not. Jesus is alive. He's well. He's a friend. He's an older brother. He's the Lord, and he's alive. And because I know he's alive, I don't have to have these rules of do this, do that, do this, do that. I can just walk with him.
There's a lot of people who consider you a friend that they've known for a long time. And let me go to the phones. Ernie.